Shalom.
All right, Shalom.
There we go. Hey, kind of either.
All right, Shalom.
Shalom.
Before we get started, giving all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rakakwadash, for giving us the spirit to do this lesson. Lord, when this lesson is edifying, I want to give double honors to the elders and apostles of the great millstone, who still will and teach well and sound doctrine, who taught us this 100% truth. And peace, blessings, and safety to the Lord's elect, scattered throughout the four corners of the planet Earth. Okay, pushing this word in humility and sincerity as commanded by Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rakakwadash. We obviously, as brothers and sisters know, we living in a time of prophecy. We're living in a time of all things being fulfilled, and when you when you have the mindset of a prophet, one thing that the prophets do, they look at the news, whether it be international or domestic, and they're able to filter the news that you see through the scriptures, different articles and different events that take place around the world. We filter those things through the scriptures, and through that we give you warning of what's to come in the future.
Mm-hmm.
So, as you see from the title, it says, "And one people shall stand up to fight against another with swords in their hand," and that's a quote from the book of Second Ezra, the 15th chapter. What is that? The 16th verse or the 15th verse. That's a quote from that scripture there in the 15th verse. And pretty much what that's talking about is people rising up against each other to fight against each other, for number one, for the lack of bread, and for other scenarios like rice being taken away, lack of food,
Shelter.
right, lack of shelter, you know lack of a way to make money.
Mm-hmm.
All that's going to cause people to rise up and fight against each other with swords in their hand, and the modern day sword is the gun. you know because men don't just walk around with swords anymore.
Right.
Men walk around with guns on their hip. A lot of states have passed laws where you could just walk around with guns now, like Ohio, for example.
Mm-hmm.
We live in Ohio, and they passed last summer. They passed the law that anybody could carry as long as you're over the age of 18. You don't have to have a license or nothing. You just go to the store, you buy a gun.
Mm-hmm.
And so we was gonna read that article of Kushar first, and then we're gonna get the scripture, and this will be short or long, depending on the spirit.
Which one?
The first one, yeah, that one.
Okay, It says nearly half of U.S. states issue warning to credit card companies after vow to start tracking gun and ammo sales.
Right. And you know, Esau is like a Johnny come lately, man. You know what I'm saying? It's 2022, and now this guy want to track ammo sales and gun sales, which shows you that it's really not about them trying to suppress guns, because the wicked elite, they want chaos. They want people to rise up against each other with their guns. That's why America, there's more guns in America than people. We're gonna prove that with an article as well. But the headline said that now credit card companies, read that again,
It
because it said
says
that the states,
nearly half of U.S. states issue warning to credit card companies after vow to start tracking gun and ammo sales.
right? So half of the United States, the states of the United States issued warnings to credit card companies because those states vowed to track gun and ammo sales. Okay. So now that Esau is trying to track gun and ammo sales, but that's not going to stop the prophecies, because what is written will come to pass. The Lord said in Isaiah chapter 46 and verse 10, it says, declaring the end from the beginning, and from ancient times the things that are not yet done, saying, my counsel shall stand, and I will do all my pleasure. So whatever the Lord has declared from the beginning, through his prophets, through the men of the Lord, manifested through preaching, that's what's gonna stand. The Lord gonna do all his pleasure. So him tracking gun sales is not gonna stop the prophecies from coming to pass. And like I said, when you look deeper into it, the wicked elite, the top international bankers, the Rothschilds, the Rockefellers, the shadow government, so to speak, the so-called Illuminati, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
That's when in Psalm 64, when it speaks about the insurrection of the
Want me to
workers
grab
of
that?
iniquity. Yeah, come. because those individuals, they want chaos. They don't give a fuck about tracking gun sales.
Right.
This is all to move your mind towards a digital system, to move these companies and these credit card companies and the people that have these gun shops and pretty much every citizen in the United States to gear you towards being able to have everything tracked, through digital things. Because like I said before the camera cut on, you're gonna track all the credit card company sales, but what about when they want to pay with cash?
Mm-hmm.
Or they're gonna move to say all gun sales must be with a credit card? You see what I'm saying? And then, so you got it. Something 6401, I think.
I want to say, to back you up on the one point, it says order app chaos, this thing called Hegelian dialectic, as above, so below, meaning they bring these things, they bring chaos, and then they bring in big government, which you're gonna have to abide by big government, which is they have this thing called draconian laws, where they push out the harshest laws. For instance, jaywalking, even littering, man. They give you fucking penalties for bullshit like that, man. I got it for you. This is Psalm 64 and 6. It says, they search out iniquities, they accomplish a diligent search.
So I started verse 1.
All right, come on. It says, hear my voice, O power, and my prayer. Preserve my life from fear of the enemy. Hide me from the secret counsel of the wicked, from the insurrection of the workers of iniquity.
Right, so there's a secret council. It takes place on the planet Earth. There's a secret council, and there are workers of iniquity. And the Lord spoke about spiritual wickedness in high places. That's what we're up against. So there's a secret council. It tells you in Isaiah 29 that they say, who seeth them and who knoweth them. So there's a secret council behind the scenes of individuals, very powerful, so-called powerful individuals economically and influentially on the planet Earth. And they want chaos, like the brother was going into, Hegelian dialect, which is pretty much creating an environment and issues that the result or the resolve for those issues is the expansion of government. Pressure from above, pressure from below. And so America, like I said, these guys are claiming they want to track gun sales, but that's not going to stop the prophecies, because the prophecy here in 2 Ezra 15 and 14, it says, woe to the world and them that dwell therein, for the sword in their destruction draweth nigh. And one people shall stand up to fight against another, and swords in their hand. The modern day sword is the gun. So you tracking gun sales and ammo sales, the states issuing warrants to credit card companies to track gun sales, ammo sales, that's not going to stop the prophecies. And really, just like I said, this is all up for them. This is to get them into being able to track things, through digital and electronic payments. We can read that other article real quick.
It says,
because the modern day sword is the gun, and when you look at prophecy, the main place that these prophecies are going to explode in is America, Babylon the Great, Mystery Babylon, which is known as the Great Horde, spiritual Sodom, spiritual Egypt, spiritual Assyria. What you got it?
It says gun ownership by country 2022.
Right, so this is a survey of gun ownership from the year 2022.
It says, I'm gonna just dump down. It says top 10 countries with highest gun ownership. Civilian guns owned per 100 people. The United States ranks as number 1. It says 120.5 per 100 people.
So per 100 people in America, there's 120 guns. That means that there are more guns than citizens. That means that there are people here on the planet Earth that have multiple guns. Because like a person like me, I don't have no gun. And there's a lot of brothers that don't have guns. But that means that there are certain people that have multiple guns.
Well, they're mainly Edomites, man.
Yeah.
We gonna put it out there like that. Edomites. I remember I sent that video in the group chat. Motherfucker had a whole basement armory, man. Full of weapons from fucking World War II, Vietnam, all of that, man.
Yep.
It's these Edomites that's gonna be rising up against the government, man. You got it.
Can you read that one? I think it's like the first paragraph of that article.
It says gun ownership varies significantly around the world. More than 175 of the world's countries allow their citizens to own firearms.
Right. It said 100 and what?
75 of the
So,
world's
so
countries.
175 of the world's countries allow their citizens to own guns.
It says, though most have specific regulations on ownership, such as banning certain types of firearms, Mexico, Guatemala, and the U.S. have gone one step further and made gun ownership a constitutional right.
So only Mexico, the United States, and Guatemala made guns a constitutional right, meaning pretty much anybody could have one, even a motherfucker who mentally ill, even a motherfucker who. Now I heard that felons could get guns.
Yep.
So the stage is set for this prophecy here to be fulfilled. It says, "For there shall be sedition among men." I mean, Salakia, verse 15, 2nd Ezra 15 and 15. For the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up to fight against another, and swords in their hand. Now, Esau is the sword of the Most High. When you read Psalms chapter 17 and what's that, verse 13?
Yeah.
Can you get that Bible? Sure.
Come on.
Because Esau is the sword of the Most High, because it says, for the sword and their destruction draweth nigh. Okay, that sword is Esau coming down on you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, what they would deem the minorities. Okay, Esau gonna come down on you via martial law. Okay, via these really just martial law. You know what I'm saying? And through that, there's gonna be genocide. Through that, there's gonna be them taking you to C camps and Q camps. You know, you got it.
It says Psalm 17 and 13, arise, O Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua, disappoint him, cast him down, deliver my soul from the wicked, which is thy sword.
Right. Arise, O Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua, quam Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua, disappoint him. You know, disappoint this man and his plans, because as we read at the beginning, Isaiah 46 and 10, my counsel shall stand, and the Lord will do all his pleasure. And the pleasure of the Lord is that, this devil gonna get loose, this devil gonna do cause chaos, it's gonna be a period of lawlessness, but at the end of it all, the Lord is gonna save his elect. You know, so we're and he's not gonna establish his new world order, which is gonna be based upon digital and electronic payments via a tiny technology in your hand and in your forehead. That system is not gonna be set up. The elect is not gonna have to, live in that system very long. But it said, deliver my soul from the wicked, which is thy sword. So the scriptures say in 2nd Ezra 15 and 15, for the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up to fight against another, and swords in their hand. So that martial law is coming, and the reason why that martial law is coming is because people are going to be fighting against each other. It's going to be total chaos, total lawlessness, because of the lack of food. As it's going to go on to say, it says, verse 16, for there shall be sedition among men. Sedition is an uprising against an authority or government. Okay, so that's gonna happen because of what the type of laws is gonna be getting passed. People gonna be getting drafted. You see what happened? Dude got Russian. What was it? A Russian army recruiter just got shot today in Serbia for trying to draft people to the army. So imagine when people start getting drafted in the United States Army, when these women start getting drafted, because the women can get drafted now according to the law.
Right.
You're gonna have fathers and grandfathers trying to protect their daughters from going to war. So it says, for there shall be sedition among men. They're gonna rise up against this government and invading one another. Invading means I'm coming in your personal space without permission. People breaking in houses, kick door. It say they shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power. So they're gonna do, meaning they're not gonna respect those that are in authority.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? When the mayor or the police get on this TV and say the crime is outrageous, this is a time of peace, we all need to be together on this, and they ain't gonna give a fuck. They're gonna it's gonna get more and more tumultuous.
Right. You see how Mexico look? Got the cartel down there doing as they please, running up in churches, gunning down police. That's how it's gonna be here, man. Everything Babylon is gonna get it the worst, man. The Lord says he's gonna render it to Babylon double, man. You got it.
It say 2nd Ezra 15 and 16, for there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, in the course of their actions shall stand in their power. You see, so people gonna do what they want. Ain't gonna be no 911. Like purge, forever purge. That's an example of them not regarding their kings nor princes. You know, because when the purge was supposed to be over, what? The people kept going. It says in verse 17, a man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able, because you're going to have certain cities and communities barricaded, you know, blockades, okay, where people are not going to be able to go into certain cities or go into certain neighborhoods because it's going to be so bad, or go to certain areas. You know, the grocery stores is going to be too crazy. People going to be dying left and right in the grocery store. It's going to be like fucking Royal Rumble in the grocery store, you know? So you got to figure out other ways to get food, other places to go for food.
I got one. Matthew 24:12. And because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold. Now, in the scriptures, it say iniquity, right? It goes into lawlessness, man. It says wax cold, which means what? It shall grow even worse, man. The word cold is psycho, right? You know, so people don't be out here flipping shit, man. Okay, you go, and then at the end of this, you know, people not, you know, some people not. There's a lot of dope heads in America too, man. All right, certain
mentally ill people. When they stop getting their medicine, you know, because the medicine not gonna be coming in either. If the food not coming in, the prescription is not gonna be coming in. You know, people with different medications. A lot of elderly people gonna die very quickly. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna no electricity. You're not gonna have no running water, which means you're not gonna have no meats, no dainty meats. So all you fat motherfuckers who eat 7 times a day, y'all gonna be going crazy because you're not gonna have your food, which food is drugs and drugs is food. That's why we always bring out, you got the Food and Drug Administration. They bunch those things together because the food has been weaponized here in this country, you know, as a drug. And I got one too. It's Isaiah 19:1. The burden of Egypt, behold, the Lord rideth upon a swift cloud and shall come into Egypt, and the idols of Egypt shall be moved at his presence, and the heart of Egypt shall melt in the midst of it. And that's talking about Yahweh Shai coming with the fathership. That's the swift cloud, because the cloud is not swift. Swift, the word swift means rapidly moving. So that's talking about, it's not talking about a rain cloud, it's talking about the chariots. According to Psalms 104 and 3, it tells you that he maketh the clouds his chariots. The Lord does. Verse 2, it says, and I will set the Egyptians against the Egyptians, and they shall fight every one against his brother, and every one against his neighbor, city against city, and kingdom against kingdom. So the Lord's going to set the Egyptians against the Egyptians. The modern day Egypt is America, okay? Because it tells you in Deuteronomy 28:68 that wherever the boat dropped us off, that's Egypt. And the main place that the boats dropped us off, us Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, is America. You know, but also Europe. You know, also you had slaves that was brought from Europe to the Caribbeans. You had slaves that was brought from the Caribbeans to Portugal. You know, you had slaves that was shipped to parts of China and Japan. So wherever the boat landed, that's spiritual Egypt, so it's technically talking about the whole world, but the main Egypt is America. That's why when you pull out your dollar, you got the pyramid on the dollar bill, because this is spiritual Egypt. So it said he's going to set the Egyptians against the Egyptians, meaning the Americans against the Americans, okay? And they're going to fight everyone against their brother. Because what do you have? When you look at the government is mainly comprised of Edomites. But then when you look at the main citizens that's ready to take up arms against the government, it's Edomites.
Right, exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So the Lord, and that's pursuant to what Yahweh Shai said in Matthew, what is that? Matthew or Luke 12:49. The kingdom divided against itself shall not stand. You know, he came not to send peace, but a sword, which is the sword is a dividing instrument, you know, a severing instrument. So the Lord is dividing, you know, these so-called white people, which are the biblical Edomites.
I got it. Okay. This is Matthew 10:34. Think not that I am come to send peace on earth.
Right. This is who the world calls JC. You people seem to think that the Lord is coming to bring peace on earth, but yet the world get more and more evil. The world get more and more crazy. You know, people always talking about it's a crazy world. Right. But what? Hold on. Jesus is being spread across the 4 corners of the earth. You know, has been for the past 200, 300 years. So why is the world getting crazier and crazy? Because the Lord didn't come to send peace on earth.
He says, I came not to send peace, but a sword.
God. And a sword is something, like I said, a sword divides, a sword severs, a sword separates. So the Lord's making that separation between these Edomites. So now the lower level Edomites want to take up guns and arms against, the governmental Edomites, the authoritative Edomites.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what it's talking about with the Egyptians gonna set the Egyptians against the Egyptians. And I got one more real quick. This is 2nd Ezra chapter 16. Let's see. 2nd Ezra chapter, it's like 2nd Ezra chapter 13 and verse 31, it says, and one shall undertake to fight against another, one city against another, one place against another, one people against another, and one realm against another. So you're gonna have, it said one shall fight to undertake to fight against another. That's like on an individual level, two individuals brawling it out for the last piece of chicken or the last pack of meat. You know what I'm saying? The last loaf of bread, the last gallon of water, the last gasoline tank. Two individuals stabbing each other for the last whatever. It says, and
right. So like your last piece of shrimp. You know, it's about to get that crucial, man.
It says one shall undertake to fight against another, one city against another. So you're gonna have neighborhoods banding together, especially like these gated communities with these Edomites. You know what I'm saying? Or even the projects. You might have a couple of Jakes banding together, you know what I'm saying? Making a pact that we're gonna protect, you know what I'm saying, our building. It's our building versus they building, you know what I'm saying? It's our street versus they street. It's our cul-de-sac versus they cul-de-sac. If any motherfuckers come out of here they're not from around here, you know, they're gonna make barricades and all of that. That's what's gonna be going on. A pretty good movie to watch is or a TV show. I don't know if it's still on Netflix, but it was called Jericho, and it was pretty much about America had been hit by nuclear missiles, and there was still a few missiles that's left that they was trying to secure, but America had been hit by missiles, and it was pretty much total lawlessness, and like it was anarchy, you know what I'm saying, and different governments and different militias and things was forming, and you had cities against other cities. You had cities banded together, and they had split the country up, and it's a pretty good series, you know what I'm saying. But it says, one people shall stand and fight against another, one city against another, one place against another, one people against another. That's them so-called racial wars, you know what I'm saying? Because it tells you in Isaiah, the 13th chapter, that every man gonna return to his own people. So it ain't gonna be no, you ain't gonna be with your white friend in that day, and that white boy ain't gonna be with his black friend. They're gonna be with their own people, because that's gonna be the only people you can trust. And really, it's gonna come down to your family. And even after that, family is gonna be against each other, because it's gonna get that bad, to where the dad is gonna be looking at his family like, man, we all ain't gonna make it.
Right,
we all, I might as well just fucking, put them out their misery. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Right. Yeah, that's the type. Them thoughts is gonna be logical at one point. It's gonna be like, man, well, shit, I love them, but I don't want to see them suffer. You know what I'm saying? And they ain't gonna have no hope. They ain't gonna have no hope of salvation. So the only thing on his mind is gonna be, well, shit, it's a double win. They won't have to suffer, and I'll get some food, because he gonna eat them. You know what I'm saying? That's the type of shit that's gonna be going on. It says,
well, it's a movie that brothers that put in the group chat a while ago. It was dealing with basically Jacob's Trouble, man. I forgot what the movie's called.
Oh, it's on American Blackout.
No. It's basically it's the scriptures. It was, I forgot what the movie's called, but it was basically going into blackout, and then you martial law. It was just a whole bunch of
that's the movie, American Blackout.
No, that's one with Jake, nothing but Jakes in there.
Oh, okay,
yeah, it's nothing but Jakes.
God.
And the father took matters into his own hands. He ended up killing his whole family, man. Right? It was no trust during that time, man. You gotta find that shit, man.
It says, just reading on to the end, it says, in one realm against another. So you're gonna have two different worlds. That's talking about nation rising against nation, because it's gonna be all out. Like I said, Yahushua said it. He didn't come to send peace, but a sword. He said that the
So what do you think I mean? Can you submit to all the bills? Can you pay all the bills every month? No.
Can you check the stream? Salakia, phone died. I don't know why. Because it was hooked up to the charger, but that's just safe.
Is it charging now?
Yeah.
There it go.
All right, Con. So, you go ahead and bring out your scripture.
All right, Con. But I'm gonna grab this second, just 6 at 22. It says, "And suddenly shall the sown places appear unsown."
Right, that's already been happening.
Mm-hmm.
The sown places where you sow your seed. You know what I'm saying? These different farmlands. You've been having the worst crop or the worst harvest for the past 3 years, man. So the food supply is slowly but surely being depleted. And then on top of that, you got Bill Gates of hell buying up all the farmland, you know, and who knows what he's going to do with it. Yeah, as if the farmland was already not mismanaged enough because nobody was keeping the land Sabbath, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So, you got it.
It says, "The full storehouses shall suddenly be found empty, and the trumpet shall give a sound."
Well, it's like it. The full storehouses shall suddenly be found empty. So it's not going to be no food. Because little do you know, the food doesn't grow in the stores. The food don't just poof into the store like some spoiled Americans may think. There's a whole process of planting the seed, watering the seed, tilling the ground, checking on it every day, making sure that it's doing good. Then you gotta pluck it. Then you know what I'm saying, you put it into the batch, you take it into the house, you wash it off, you package it up, you call the people that's gonna pick it up. They come and pick up the load, and then the load. I mean, it's a whole huge process that takes place for that food to get into the store.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of times nowadays, when the food actually get into the store, it only got like a week or two left before it go bad.
Right.
Because
go ahead, you gotta go ahead.
Because that's how backed up the food supply chain is. Mm-hmm. So eventually, it said suddenly the set of full storehouses be found empty, man. Mm-hmm. So that's gonna happen.
Right. You go buy fruits and vegetables. That shit only lasts fucking less than 36 hours, man. You know, maybe even 48, man. I bought some fucking strawberries a couple weeks ago. 2-3 days later, it was no good, man. You know, showing you that this man, this man, he's not set to rule properly, man. He wants complete chaos. He said the scripture say he's the son of perdition, man. It says, 2 Ezra 6:24, well 23. It says, "And the trumpet shall give a sound, which when every man heareth, they shall be suddenly afraid." At that
and for real, the Lord, you know, obviously it's in his will to have chaos. You know what I'm saying? You know, and you saw one fuck with the stream. He's a power that brings order from chaos. Like, so Jacob's trouble is the epitome of chaos. You know what I'm saying? So that's when the Lord Yahushua gonna come back in the midst of that and bring that heavenly divine order. The same thing happened in Genesis. It tell you that the wickedness of man was great, and it was immense violence. That's pretty much like a Jacob's trouble type of scenario. Mm-hmm. So that same thing gonna take place, man, and it's gonna get so bad. The wickedness of man is gonna be so great, and that the Lord's gonna have to send his son and his angels to defend the elect and deliver them up out of that. Same way he sent Noah the blueprint to deliver himself out of that chaotic situation. Got it.
I'm gonna get to grab that point. You're dealing with the time of Noah. This is 2 Ezra 4:28. It says, "But as concerning the things whereof thou askest me, I will tell thee, for the evil is sown, but the destruction thereof is not yet come. If therefore that which is sown be not turned upside down, and if the place where the evil is sown pass not away, then cannot it come that is sown with good."
Right. So if this place, America, don't pass away, if this current society and this current system don't pass away, then that which is sown with good, which is the kingdom of heaven, cannot come. Mm-hmm. So this place has to go into shit, into perdition, you know, in order for that which is sown with good to come into play. Right. Otherwise, if this place was good, there would be no need for the kingdom of heaven. But this place is obviously not good. Right. You know?
It says in Revelation 18 and 21, with great violence shall that great city Babylon be
thrown down.
It says 2 6 and 24. At that time shall friends fight one against another like enemies, and the earth shall stand in fear with those that dwell therein. The springs of the fountain shall stand still, and in 3 hours they shall not run. Yeah, you're gonna have friends fighting like enemies, and that's not talking about your brother in the truth, man. It's talking about your worldly so-called friends, man. A nigga you fell out with years ago, the one that separated himself and started reviling you because of this truth that you was pushing.
Yeah, we not even gonna be around them niggas, exactly. Them type of people. But them people, they gonna fight with their friends. You know what I'm saying? They gonna fight with their best friends, and cousins gonna fight against cousins. You got that favorite cousin, you just always kicking with that cousin. You ain't gonna be in that mindset in the days to come. Cause read that again, Baba Kashal.
2 6:24. At that time shall friends fight one against another like enemies, and the earth shall stand in fear with those that dwell therein.
Right, cause they're gonna be scared. They ain't gonna know what to do. They ain't gonna have no answers. Because they're gonna fear what they don't know. They're not gonna know what's next. They're not gonna know where their next meal gonna come from, and they're not gonna know where they're gonna get water. See, and it's one thing to go without food. You can go without food for a week, maybe even 2, maybe even 3. You're gonna wither away, but you will be alive. But you can't go without water that long. That's why if you keep reading what it say.
It says, the springs of the fountains shall stand still, and in 3 hours they shall not run.
Right, a faucet, a kitchen faucet, that's like a spring. It's the sewers, that's like a spring. These dams, these water pumping stations, that's like a spring. Because a lot of these places they get water from out the ground. So it said the springs of the fountain shall stand still, meaning there's not gonna be no running water. And in 3 hours it shall not run. So for a period of time, these people not gonna have no water. And you can only go, I believe it's 3 days without water. It's I know it's 3 hours without sufficient shelter. 3 hours without sufficient shelter, 3 days without water, and 3 weeks without food. That's as far as a man can go, So these people are gonna be in fear, and they're gonna be fighting against each other, and they're gonna have them swords in their hand, pursuant to the prophecy, which is the modern day sword is the gun. And like we went into with the article, there's for every 100 people in the United States of America, there's 120 guns, which means that there's more guns than people. Okay, so this shit gonna shake. And like I said, you got a lot of people who don't own guns, which means that there are millions of people who have multiple. One for every kid in their family, one for every, member in their family, one for every person on their street.
Right. Ex-military vets got fucking dozens of them shits, man. I used to work with a military vet, ex-Marine. This motherfucker said he got over 20 pistols, man. What the fuck do you need all that for, man? It's only one thing.
2 hands.
Right. And there's only one thing you got it for. It's because when the government come at you, man, and these people know that, man.
Yep.
They know that as people are starting to wake up, they're starting to see that the government is no good, man. You got people rising up against governments all across the world. And recently, Germany, because of the energy crisis, man. Okay, and that's going soon as these Babylonians wake up, everything is going to completely go up in flames, man.
Yeah, Egyptian against the Egyptian. This is I'll close with this one. Psalms 44, verse 6. For I will not trust in my bow, neither shall my sword save me. It says, but thou hast saved us from our enemies and hast put them to shame that hated us. In the Most High we boast all the day long and praise thy name forever, Selah. So while these people gonna trust in their guns and they're gonna be fighting each other with their guns to try to get more food, try to get shelter, try to get water, try to get gasoline, probably you might not even have your vehicle because of EMP attack, So they can be fighting over older models that still can run after the EMP attack. Why these people gonna be trusting in their gun for protection and all that? We're gonna trust in Yahweh Shemel Shah. We're gonna trust in the name of Yahweh Shemel Shah because the bow not gonna save us and the sword not gonna save us. The Lord said it. He said, all they that live by the sword shall perish with the sword. Okay, so we trusting in Yahweh Shemel Shah. We got angels, man. Fuck we need a gun for when you got angels. Okay.
Can I grab this and you close out? This is Psalms 33 and 16. And I'm gonna read down to 21. It says, there is no king saved by the multitude of an host, A mighty man is not delivered by much strength. An horse is a vain thing for safety, neither shall he deliver any by his great strength.
Right. Because nigga get knocked right off the horse. You see that all the time in the ancient movies, man. You know, you might have the biggest, strongest horse. You know what I'm saying? And nigga get knocked right off of that bitch with an arrow. You know what I'm saying? So it says a horse, which a horse represents, you know, means of protection. You know, bulletproof vest, infrared goggles, a gun. You know what I'm saying?
It says, behold, the eye of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua is upon them that fear him.
That's all you need to know. You know what I'm saying? A horse is a vain thing. Know this. The eyes of the Lord are upon them that fear him, man. What are the eyes of the Lord? The angels.
It says, upon them that hope in his mercy, to deliver their soul from death and to keep them alive in famine.
Yes, to keep us alive in famine, man. Because that's when pretty much all this chaos is gonna hit a peak or a pinnacle. That's when that famine hit, man. So when ain't no food, man, you're gonna see who really love you. You're gonna see who really love the Lord.
Yeah,
you know?
when it's a scarcity of food, Salakia, people will make food out of anything, man.
Out of you.
Yeah. Come on. Scripture said in the book of 2 Kings, you know, they ate bird shit, man. Right. So these people gonna eat whatever they can get their hands on, man.
Yep. Hey, so that's it. Something real quick. Lord willing, there was edifying Salaki for the technical difficulties. We're gonna give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahushua, by Hashem, Chachodash. The double honor apostle is a great millstone, still rule well. Peace, blessings, and safety to the Lord's elect. Come Yahshua, Shalom.
Bible Ball.